And greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In this segment, we're going to illustrate on how to create content for your modules. First off, please click on Modules. And we're going to go with the very basics here. In order to create any module, on the top right-hand corner, click on Plus Module in the blue rectangle. Once here, you'll be prompted to give the module a name. Now, for the most part, you have several options. You can do or organize your modules by chronological order, say 1, 2, 3, 4 to represent modules 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually that represents a chronological date, week 1, week 2, week 3. And in fact, you could even name it week 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Also, some instructors like to use modules to organize it by units. Say a biology class, maybe you want to divide it into particular units. Or some instructors also prefer to do it by chapters, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how you organize it is strictly up to you. There's no right or wrong answer. It's merely preference and pedagogy and how you think it'll best be available for your students. For the sake of simplicity, we'll just simply make it as intuitive as possible here. So we will call it week 1. And once you have a name for it, you simply click Add Module. If you have a bunch of modules like here, the newest module you make will always be at the very end of your modules. If you're starting out with a blank slate, obviously it'll appear in the very top. But if you have already modules there, it'll always go to the very bottom. Okay? Now we start building content within each module. This is where you can house all of your content material, your lectures, your instructions, your quizzes, your assignments, your handouts, anything and everything, essentially. This is really if the modules itself, week 1, week 2, unit 1, unit 2, is considered kind of the body, the framework, then the content would be all of the core elements that go into your modules. We'll keep it as simple as possible for this particular podcast. So on the right-hand side of whichever module you want to add content, you have several options here. This button is the Publish button. We'll get to that later. This is the plus, which is the Add Content, and the 3 dots gives you options of also doing things to the modules later on. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and add content. Now you have several options here. You can create an assignment, you can add a quiz, you can add a file, you can add a page, discussion, text header, external URL, and external tool. You can also link prior assignments already created, exams, forms of quizzes, etc. So many options here. Once again, let's keep it simple. Let's make the simplest thing possible, which is a content page. Click on Page and click on Highlight New. You'll want to give it a name. So you may want to call this, we'll just keep it simple and call it New Content. And you also want to add item on the bottom rectangle here in the blue. Now you have your first bit of content. So when a student goes in here and views week number 1, they will see whatever that you're going to provide here. The easiest thing to do is to provide text-based content. You have your setup page here. Next, we'll want to add and put in the actual content that you're looking to give to your students. The easiest way to do that is to click the Edit button. Here you can add all sorts of things. You can type in the content that you want your students to get, maybe lecture content that you have already set up. You can put images, you can do videos, you can do PowerPoints, you can add PDFs, you can add Word documents, just about anything and everything here is available. You can put images. It's as simple as simply clicking on the image on the top where it says images, left click. You can upload an image, use course images that are already there in your files. And for example, here, if you upload an image, you can upload it directly from your computer, where you just simply drag and drop it from your computer. You can use Unsplash, where you can actually search for content. So I'll just search for something random here in history. And although these suggest that there are no copyright issues, you always want to double check to make sure that it is indeed usable for the common public. So in my case, I'll just do something randomly here. All you have to do is click on the picture and then submit, and there you have a photo. Okay. You can also insert media. You can insert something that you've recorded. You can also insert something that you already have beforehand, etc. You can also upload documents, PDFs, Word documents, etc. No matter what you do, always make sure that you save. Otherwise, it will not connect. It will not save the content, and anything that you've done will actually be lost. Every time you finish updating or adding new modules, always make sure that you double check that everything is okay. You click on modules and go all the way down to where you have your new content. Look through it, make sure that it's okay. And the final step is to always hit the publish button up here where it says publish. This means where it says with the X and the circle that it's actually not published. So by clicking on there, left click, every time you see it green, that means it's published. Your students cannot see your new modules until it is physically published in the green there. This is the most basic way to create a module